Nate, we've talked about outsourcing before, but you're talking specifically about the Philippines so much. Why is that?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Why not hire people in India or China or Brazil
over the Philippines? You probably know that Nate outsources almost everything you're watching except us to the Philippines. That is correct. And we've talked about it a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But in this particular episode, we're going to get even a little more granular as we talk about why Nate uses the Philippines really exclusively. And you've never been in any other country for outsourcing,
Yeah,
have you?
I learned, that's correct. Well, I've done some project-based things in other countries, but not a full-time employee.
Yeah.
All my full-time employees have always been in the Philippines. And I was taught the reasons why, and I'm going to share some of those reasons and also share my experience. And I've heard of other people that have hired full-time employees in places like India, great people, and China, but some of the disadvantages that they've experienced.
Beautiful.
So the first advantage I want to talk about is, and this goes back to a great benefit of all outsourcing, is the cost. Comparing it to all the other countries, the cost of living in the Philippines is smaller. If you're going to hire one person in the Philippines, another person in India, you're going to pay a lot less in the Philippines. If you look up the statistics of the minimum wage, it's different by city across the Philippines. But some of the bigger cities like Manila will have a little bit higher minimum wage. Smaller cities on other islands will be lower, but it ranges in the realm of $1.50 to $2.50 per hour if that's translated to U.S. dollars. And that's their minimum wage. So that's the amount that their government is saying is the minimum amount that they need to pay. And obviously, when you're outsourcing, the laws are different because we're U.S. and whatnot. But it's kind of a cool statistic.
It sounds like you're mostly paying on a sort of a monthly basis, a monthly salary.
Yeah, I would set it up just like you would as if you had employees here in the United States. And the way that I do it, if you're curious, is I do just pay once a month. So we have all of our hours recorded. Typically it's 160 hours in a month. And then on a specific day in the following month is payday, and that's when they get their
And you do direct deposits or something? Or
right now it's PayPal. There's been different tools that I've used in the past, but I'm just using PayPal.
Huh, interesting. So costs compare very favorably if you're in the Philippines. As far as you know, it's right down there in terms of...
Let's move on to benefit number two.
Benefit number two.
And that is language.
They speak English.
Yeah, English is obviously a second language, but it's a real high second language. All their street signs are in English. I guess there's a lot of dialects and whatnot, and so English is kind of the one.
That's the one unifier that everybody. Well, and it was the history of the Philippine people. I don't know it specifically, but I do know that a few years ago, Spain was kind of the dominator. They came along and took over the Philippines. So you still get a lot of Spanish names, I've noticed, with people. Jose Luis, Miguel, Flora, whatever. But then America, boom, beat Spain, get out. And so English became the de facto, like you were saying, kind of universal language. Did I get that right? Do you know?
That sounds great to me.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but now, and then America being America said, hey, you're free. You be the Philippines. But let us outsource to you now and then, sort of as payback.
And the quality of their English is great.
It is.
If I were to have somebody write sales copy, that is challenging. You need to find somebody who understands the sales psychology to be able to write that. But to write the descriptions for videos, to do keyword research for me and all that, I mean, to communicate with my clients.
Well, to even
no problem
go through hours of this kind of footage and understand what in the world we're talking about.
And
that's Canadian.
And but you're not Canadian.
No, I'm not.
But there's stories that I've heard of people who have hired somebody in India. And while that person is extremely skilled and very well educated and has a big background and whatnot, you'll say something and say, "Do you understand?" And they'll say, "Yes, I heard you." But they don't. There's something lost. They'll say yes, but that's because they heard your words, but they didn't understand.
They received you, but they don't perceive what
and
it is you're saying.
That apparently happens quite a lot. It's really never happened.
If there was a World Cup for where we want to outsource, Philippines takes the cake.
All right, so another great advantage and reason for the Philippines, they are very highly educated in all things digital, all things computer related. Yeah, yeah. All my team, and I can't say all, but most of my team all have degrees in some computer science or something like that. They're very well trained, even though it's a third world country, and they live in.
Are we sure it's third world? Are we confident in that classification?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I don't know what the requirements are, but yes.
Because it kind of seems second world to me, but
I don't even know if there is a second world.
I think there is. Yeah.
Somebody in the comments below let us know.
There's first world countries, there's third world, and there's definitely seconds in there, but I don't.
I would say it's definitely third world.
It's neither here nor there. Back to topic.
The reason we want to hire people in the Philippines is because they're highly educated.
Yeah.
Especially anything that's related to the computer, and that's the type of stuff that's easiest to outsource anyway. Their culture is really kind and respectful. It was a bit kind of awkward at first for them to call me sir all the time, and to what some of the things that they say. I'm used to it now, but like they say, kind sir and stuff like that, and they're just very, very polite.
They probably wouldn't make a joke about a World Cup of outsourcing and say, boom, Philippines wins, just like I did with my brash background. They are respectful.
Yeah, Americans
polite.
can be we can be disrespectful.
Oh, the ugly American is not just a saying. Yeah,
so
it's sitting right next to me.
They're Filipinos as a culture as a whole, I found to be very kind, very polite.
Give you the shirt off their back type of people. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. All right, so this one was surprising to me, and even though I was taught it, I didn't believe it, but now I've experienced it, and they are not entrepreneurial.
Now, why is that an advantage or a good thing?
That's a good thing when you're hiring an employee. So I obviously love entrepreneurship, and for all of our viewers here, I want you to succeed, and I want you to be entrepreneurs, and any of my team that are editing these videos, I want to help you be an entrepreneur. But the reason that I am calling this an advantage, that Filipinos are not entrepreneurial, is I don't ever have to train my competition. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I love that. In other words, you're not worried that they're going to leave and start their own competing business. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big concern. Like, well, man, I'm training them how to do all my secrets. This is how I create the videos, or this is how back in the day it was website design when I had this concern. So I was like, because I had created a new way of doing website design that was way more efficient. I thought all the other web design companies on the earth were stupid. I'm like, how come they're not doing this? I figured this out. So I was training my team.
Right.
This is exactly how we do it. We follow these 4 steps, and this is how I'm selling it. This is the price, and this is design the website, create it for me. And I just thought, well, what if they create another website and start marketing this?
Right.
But
never happened.
Long story short, it never happened, and now that thought doesn't even cross my mind, because that's not what they want. They're not interested in becoming the competition. They really want that safety and security. If you can, here's one kind of a side note. The Philippines is great for full-time, long-term employment. If you just have a project, such as you just need a website designed, you're not going to hire an employee to design your website, because then what are they going to do when your website is done? Mm-hmm. Right? But if you have ongoing articles that are posted to your website, they're blog posts, or you're doing ongoing video editing, that's a full-time position, and that's obviously a great person to hire for a full-time position.
Makes sense.
The next point is related. It's loyalty. I mean, I'm thinking of a couple team members in my mind right now that are so loyal. They're always sharing ideas. They're thinking of ways to grow and benefit my company. And I love it. In a previous video where we talked about some of the disadvantages of outsourcing, and I shared a story, it was one of my employees that approached me and said, hey, this is what I think is happening. And I was just so grateful, and
blew the whistle.
Yeah, my team are very loyal, and
That's
I'm really appreciative of that.
Yeah. Well, now you know why. I gave you the backstory. So tell them what you're going to say.
Well, they love Americans.
See, now why do they love Americans, everyone? Because we liberated them and gave them their country back from Spain.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
when was this?
I don't know, 50s, 40s, 50s? Yeah. It might have been earlier than that. But I mean, it's the Spanish-American War was, as I recall, over the Philippines.
So if this is correct or incorrect, comment below, because we want to know. I want to know.
I went to college decades ago, and I remember this because I used to live in Spain, and I knew a lot of Filipinos in Spain. But now I know a lot of Filipinos in America, or Filipinos who are just staying in the Philippines because they're free, which is great. So that's why they love Americans.
And it's something that I've experienced in that it's a status symbol when
Work for an American.
To work for an American.
Yeah.
When they can say, yeah, my boss is American. They brag. They use it as a bragging right. It's pretty cool. Like I had one employee that was telling me that, I was telling all my friends that I work for an American. And they were all excited and asking about it and wanted to find out how
who
they
never would ever say that? Who they're proud to work for an American?
Who?
A Canadian. That's all I'm saying. It just comes to mind. This is a really humble, good people.
For the last point, I'm actually going to share a resource that makes it so easy to hire people in the Philippines. It's virtualassistanttool.com. I'll put a link down in the description for it. The reason I list that here as a benefit, because other countries don't have resources available like this one to make it so easy, really because you've got a culture of people that want to work for Americans, and so there's a whole database of people on the virtualassistanttool.com that you can go, and there's a couple 100,000 people there that are really hungry, really educated, and you can filter it down and find the skill set that exactly matches what you're looking for, so it makes it really easy.
And this is obviously applicable in any industry, for any level of entrepreneurship. You don't have to be doing YouTube videos to be able to jump on virtualassistanttool.com and find potential outsourcees in the Philippines.
All right, so we had a decent sized list there, but there's a lot more things that we could have touched on there. What are some other reasons why you think the Philippines is a superior place to hire people? Comment below.
You might have to do some internet research for that one.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have an opinion,
if you don't have an opinion, then
don't comment.
We don't want to hear it
At all.
And I will put the link down in the description for the virtualassistanttool.com.